Hello and welcome to a new video here on my channel, here at commaik. The construction of my new garden kitchen continues. In previous videos, I have already shown you how I poured this concrete foundation, how I built the base and how I laid the first 4 or 5 rows of bricks. In this video, I will take you along and show you how I build out the bar and how I install windows, finish back wall and finish shell. I will finish it. If you want to know how I do that, then stay tuned. It will start shortly. Welcome back to a new video from the project series Building a Garden Kitchen Yourself. I have already built the first 4 or 5 rows. I am using aerated concrete for this, blocks of the Ytong brand. The blocks are glued using the thin bed method. Only the first row has been completed. I set it in mortar and aligned it properly. The work surface will have the shape of a U. This means that the countertop will run around. On this side, it should lead towards the pool. A bar is being created. My grill will be installed on the back side. Right here is where my Napoleon Phantom 500 will go. Napoleon Phantom 500. In order to later supply this outdoor kitchen with electricity, water and wastewater, I installed empty conduits early on one side here and on the other. Also here on the other side, here is the water pipe that will later connect to the sink. Water will be supplied. In these niches down here, I will install various built-in cabinets. I planned a small refrigerator. Here is a large base cabinet, here a sink cabinet, and there are many storage cabinets. This is to ensure that the garden kitchen, to ensure it doesn't get too dark, a large window opening should be installed on the south side. The west side is also intended to remain open. Here the bar will be built. The bar should have a small overhang. I just find it slightly more beautiful when you have that. Can comfortably lean back while enjoying their drink. Additionally, this gives me a larger countertop. My goal is to also build this countertop with the Ytong aerated concrete blocks. Lay stones. I have an overhang of about 7.5 cm for the installation. That's already a start for later to install the countertop or wooden panel. The window opening had a purely aesthetic function. A lot of light is supposed to come into the garden kitchen. I will not install a proper window. It will remain open. To ensure that the whole structure is stable, I have already placed a lintel here and attached it, marked on the wall. The lintel has a length of 150 cm and should have a minimum of 12 cm on the sides. I do not need a load-bearing function, as I will only have a maximum of 1 more row on top. It will be built over with aerated concrete blocks. I have already marked the lintel. Once on the right side, the outer edge, and here is the left outer edge. The overhang would then be another 12 to 13 cm. I can now build the wall up to the line, then continue laying bricks with an offset and up to the final height. Build upwards. Then I can install the lintel to be able to work on the stones properly. I use various tools. Originally, I cut the aerated concrete blocks with a handsaw. Sawed with this aerated concrete saw, it works wonderfully. However, it is very laborious, tedious and ultimately very exhausting. I switched to an electric version. I tried it with this saw and this special saw blade for aerated concrete. At the beginning, it was difficult. It does not work particularly well because the saw blade regularly gets stuck in the stone and then slipped out of the saw's holder. In the meantime, I've got the hang of it. Art is to extract the sawdust produced by the saw with a large sawing motion, so that this damp dust does not stick. Otherwise, the saw blade will get stuck in the stone. Finally, I use my rasp to very carefully and meticulously smooth out the stone and the overhangs nicely, with great care. I scrape the spring off the stone when I don't need it. The part is really gold value. It works perfectly. When masonry is done using the thin bed method, the adhesive is only applied very thinly onto the stones, and then the stone was placed on the adhesive. If the first row is absolutely horizontal, you don't need to worry about the following stones as much. A lot can be aligned. The slope will then occur naturally. In order to apply the adhesive cleanly, I applied the adhesive with a special trowel. I used the trowel to apply the adhesive, recorded and then pulled off the stones. I have to say that it works, but it makes a lot of mess because half of the glue falls out on the left and right. But I prefer my old trowel again. With this simple trowel, it works for me. In my opinion, much better. The adhesive is the original Ytong adhesive from this construction system. It costs a little more, but it holds extremely well. In case of emergency, gluing it also works. With regular tile adhesive, if you want to know which components I used, and if you want to know where I got the tools, then take a look under this video. In the description, there I have linked all the items I use. If you go through these, if you shop through the link, I would be very happy. I then receive a small commission for my efforts. Channel without your price changing. Thank you for that. But now I've talked enough. I'll take you along in a time lapse and show you how everything continues here. Have fun. As you can see, I have now also laid the fifth row. Here at the front, on this side, where the window will be built, I have left the corresponding recess free. The stones are now being laid up with the necessary offset. By the way, at this point, a reminder. The offset, this area up to this edge, corresponds to at least 0.4 times. The height of the stone, my stones have a height of 25 cm, multiplied by 0.4 results in 10 centimeters. This means the stones must have at least 10 centimeters of offset, also the bar counter. I have successfully built the bar counter, which was a challenging and rewarding task. The stones, which are of high quality and carefully selected, up to this point have already been meticulously and securely glued in place, ensuring stability and durability. At this point it gets a bit more exciting. I have not yet glued the stone, and the stone, I first aligned the stones in such a way that the overhang that results here at the bottom is identical on this side as well as on the other side. I have aligned this stone to find out the depth, and I have aligned the other stone to this other depth. Determined. This results in these gaps that I need to fill. Here I will use one of, carefully incorporate my leftover pieces, a stone with the tongue edge and about 7 centimeters in length. I think that I can reuse some leftover pieces. Also, here at the front, a leftover piece of good quality will be used. Installed at 20 centimeters. I'm not doing this to the millimeter here. The walls will be plastered afterwards, still plastered. This equalizes the inaccuracies. I actually still have a suitable piece found. I still had to rasp down a little less than half a centimeter. Since this stone is relatively, when it was dry, it worked wonderfully. The wet stones are very difficult to rasp because the dust that is generated clumps together very strongly. I can now use this stone with the spring on the glue other stone, then glue this stone, then this stone, and finally the last stone. Then the fifth row is also complete. shell construction is complete. I have built the walls as I envisioned. The bar counter is also glued. My goal now is to install a cross beam up here and then the rafter beams. The roof will be the next construction site now that the shell construction is in place. I will get in touch with the carpenter and the joiner. Let's see how quickly that is possible these days at all. But while I wait for the roof, I can use time wisely. I can prepare the electrical work in the area above. The various outlets are to be installed in the countertop. I need connections for the network, connections for electricity, connections for all sorts of things. I can take care of that in the meantime. Also the central control unit, I am still not sure whether I will install it here flush. Whether it will be installed flush or surface mounted will be shown to you here in another video, because for today I am done. My shell construction is standing. If you want to know how everything will continue from here, what my garden kitchen will eventually look like, and what, if you want to see what I have planned with this kitchen, then subscribe to my channel. That way you won't miss any of the new updates, videos. Be sure to check the description under this video. There you will find all the links to the components and tools that I have used here. I look forward to a comment below the video. I would appreciate a like if you enjoyed the video. Until next time.